The adoption chamber smelled like iron and cold stone. Behind the obsidian desk, the magistrate's scales shifted like living armor, each ripple a quiet judgment. Lieutenant EVA TORRES sat perfectly still, hands folded on her knees, posture disciplined, breathing controlled. The Vorkon were apex predators, reptilian hunters with bioluminescent crests, hooked talons, and a civilization built entirely around the hunt. To them, survival wasn't a skill. It was identity. Magistrate Krell leaned forward, crest flaring a warning amber. "You understand?" he hissed. "That the hatchling is flawed?" Eva didn't blink. "I understand," she said. Krell's claws tapped the desk. "His talons are malformed. He cannot grip. He cannot climb. He cannot complete the first blood trial." The magistrate's scales darkened. No pack would claim him. To do so would invite shame. Eva's gaze stayed steady. She had spent 4 months studying Vorkan law, learning their hierarchy, passing their psychological tests, and submitting to scrutiny that would have crushed most recruits. Humans were tolerated in the Galactic Assembly, but they were not trusted. Still, Eva had seen the hatchling. Once. Just once. A small, jade-colored child, curled in a thermal cradle while other younglings climbed practice walls with effortless precision. Those others shone with proud crests. He stayed dim, quiet. Small talons tucked under his chest like he was trying to hide his own existence. Krell tilted his head, voice colder. He was abandoned at a crash site. His birth pack left him. Eva felt something tighten in her ribs, but her voice stayed calm. "Then he needs someone," she said. "When can I take him home?" For half a second, Krell's crest flashed startled yellow. Cross-species adoption was rare. Human adoption of a predator species was unprecedented. "He will never ascend," Krell warned. "He will never hunt as your kind understands it. He will never be alone again," Eva cut in. Silence. The magistrate stared as if she'd spoken in a forbidden tongue. Eva didn't flinch. "That's the only promise that matters." Krell exhaled through his teeth. Then he pressed a claw to a datapad. A hatch behind Eva unsealed with a heavy breath of air. A small carrier slid forward. Inside, the hatchling trembled. His crest was flat, colorless. His amber eyes were enormous, watching, not trusting. EVA stood slowly. She didn't reach in right away. Predators understood space, territory, pressure. So she lowered her voice instead. "Hey," she said softly. "I'm Eva. You're safe now." Hatchling didn't answer. He didn't move. But his eyes tracked her like a starship sensor. Krell's voice came low, almost warning. "Trauma-induced mutism. Do not expect gratitude. Defects do not bond icily." Eva looked down at the small shape in the carrier. "Then I'll do the bonding for both of us," she whispered. And she took him. The first week aboard the Horizon's Dawn was quiet enough to hurt. Eva prepared a private quarters space, warmth adjusted for Vorkon body temperature, lights dimmed to reduce stress, and a raised sleeping shelf installed near the ceiling. Vorkon slept high. Height meant safety, control, power. But the hatchling ZHE didn't climb. He stayed on the floor. Always on the floor, curled against the wall like he was expecting someone to kick him back into the dark. Eva didn't crowd him. She sat on the opposite side of the room, back against the wall, a steady presence. "You don't have to do anything," she said. "Not today. Not tomorrow. Just breathe." Zeus's eyes stayed on her. He didn't speak. He didn't blink much either, like blinking was a risk. On day 3, Eva activated a holodisplay. Images formed in the air between them. Earth's green jungles. City skylines. Kids laughing. Families cooking, hands passing bowls like shared oxygen. "This is my world," Eva said gently. "Humans aren't strong like Vorkan. We can't climb like you. We don't have talons." She held up her hands. Soft, blunt, almost laughable in a predator culture. "But we survive anyway," she continued. "We build, we adapt, we help each other." ZHE's crest twitched. Just once. The smallest flicker of color, like a candle trying to remember how to burn. Eva smiled without showing teeth. "That was good," she whispered. "That was really good." The problem showed itself on day 5. Eva woke to a sound she hadn't heard before. A hard thump. A sharp, pained chirp. Then scrambling. She sat up instantly. ZHE was by the sleeping shelf. He stared up at it like it was a cliff face. His legs tensed. He jumped. His malformed talons scraped the smooth edge. Slipped. He fell. Hit the floor. The chirp that escaped him wasn't anger. It was humiliation. He shot backward, scales flashing deep purple, Vork in shame. Eva's instincts screamed to rush to him, but she stopped herself. Predators didn't like being grabbed. Not when they felt weak. So Eva crouched lower, voice soft. "It's okay," she said. "You're okay." Jay didn't look at her. He jumped again, slipped, fell, again, slipped, fell. Each attempt ended the same. His body didn't quit, but his color dimmed with every failure. Finally, he curled on the floor, head tucked, crest flat, defeated. Eva felt anger burn behind her eyes. Not at him. At a culture that called him defective because his body didn't fit a single tradition. Vorkan believed weakness must be overcome with strength. But humanity had a different rule. If a wall is impossible, you don't break your child against it. You build a way around it. Eva looked at the shelf, then at ZHE's talons, then at the space between, and she stood. "Stay here," she whispered, not as a command. As a promise, the fabrication lab hummed like a sleeping beast. The ship's AI chirped politely. "Lieutenant EVA TORRES, your sleep cycle is compromised. Recommend rest." Eva didn't slow down. She pulled up Vorkan juvenile anatomy. Weight distribution. Stride length. Joint tolerance. She ran texture simulations, materials that offered traction without slicing sensitive scale pads. She built the model. Then she rebuilt it. By 0 hours, she printed the first platform. By 4-5 hours, the second. By 0530 hours, she had 6. Each one was slightly higher than the last. A gentle rise. A path. Not a climb. By 0610 hours, Eva carried them back to her quarters and installed them. A staircase of platforms leading to the elevated shelf. Textured surfaces. Stable spacing. Wide enough for small feet. No talons required. At the top, she added one optional ledge, if G ever wanted to leap again. Not because he had to, because someday he might want to. Eva stepped back. Her quarters looked different now. Not like a predator den. Not like a human cabin. Something new. Something designed for him. The door slid open. Zhao emerged slowly. He stopped the moment he saw the platforms. His eyes widened. Confusion rippled through his scales. He approached like the steps might bite him. One foot touched the first platform. Then the second. He froze. Looked at Eva. Eva kept her voice gentle. "You don't have to climb," she said. "You can just walk." G stared at the steps again. Then he placed both front feet on the first platform. Then his back feet. He climbed, not upward, not by force, but by path. Second, platform. Third, fourth, fifth, then the sixth. And suddenly, he was at the shelf, standing high, elevated, safe, the way his species demanded he should be. ZHE turned in a slow circle. His crest exploded into brilliant gold and cyan. Pure joy, so bright Eva had to squint. He looked down at her like she had reshaped gravity. His mouth opened. Air trembled. And for the first time, he spoke. "Thank you," he whispered in broken standard. Eva's throat tightened. Her eyes burned. She tried to answer casually, like it was nothing, but her voice cracked anyway. "You're welcome," she breathed. "Always." ZHE's scales stayed bright. Not dominance. Not aggression. just relief. Like a child realizing the universe might not be built to punish him forever. News spread faster than starships. By evening, Captain Rodriguez summoned Eva to his office. He didn't look angry. He looked stunned. "I received a transmission," he said, sliding a datapad across the desk. The seal on it was VORCAN Legal Authority. Magistrate KRELL's crest mark flashed on screen. Eva's stomach flipped. "What did I do wrong?" she asked. Rodriguez exhaled a laugh. "Wrong? Torres, you may have started a cultural crisis." Eva stared. Rodriguez tapped the pad. "Your design. Your platforms. The magistrate wants the specifications." Eva blinked. Then he added, quieter, "There are 12 other hatchlings in their system. Labeled defective, hidden away." Eva's chest went cold. Rodriguez continued. "Krell wants to know if we'll accept more interspecies adoptions." Eva's breath caught. She thought of ZHE. Alone. Dim. Quiet. Trying to climb a world that never gave him a grip. She swallowed, and answered with zero hesitation. "Yes," she said. "Absolutely yes." Rodriguez smiled like he'd been waiting for that. "I already approved expanded fabrication." He leaned back, eyes bright. "We're going to need more quarters." That night, Eva sat beside ZHE's shelf. He slept curled in warmth. His scales were soft, content, no shame purple, no fear dim, just peace. Eva watched his tiny chest rise and fall, and she thought about humanity. Humans weren't the strongest species in the galaxy. They weren't the fastest. They didn't have talons, or venom, or heat vision. But humans had something else. They saw a child the universe rejected, and they redesigned the universe. Eva reached up and gently touched CHE's crest. He purred. A sound Vorkan rarely made. A sound like trust being born. "Welcome home," Eva whispered. Months later, the Horizon's dawn looked nothing like it once had. An entire wing housed multi-species families. EVA's platforms evolved. Adjustable angles, different textures, sensory-safe lighting. Some hatchlings needed ramps. Some needed braces. Some needed protective gear for rights that could be modified without destroying tradition. And every single one needed the same thing. Someone who refused to call them defective. The Galactic Assembly sent observers, scientists, cultural analysts. They studied humans with confusion bordering on fear. Because humans didn't demand children change to fit the world. They changed the world to fit the children. Eva stood in the communal bay watching G play. He was stacking blocks with a small silicate youth born without echolocation. 2 children, both labeled unfit, both thriving. Commander Park approached, datapad in hand. "New request," Park said. "A Kryn colony. They have a hatchling born without venom sacs." Eva didn't even blink. "What does she need?" Eva asked. Park hesitated. "Modified protocols. Protective equipment. Something that lets her pass without dying." Eva smiled. A human smile. The kind that made predators uneasy. "We can do that," Eva said. "We can absolutely do that." That was the human way. Not forcing children to become sharper, but making the world less cruel. And somewhere above the ship's lights, ZHE climbed his steps to the shelf like it had always belonged to him. Not as a defect. Not as a shame, but as proof that the most explosive rescue wasn't claws or fangs. It was compassion with engineering, and the galaxy was starting to understand. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Neon Cub Tales for more HFY Sci-Fi every day.